right ear upwards and exit at the point above the left ear. Alternatively, it would also mean that the deceased person shot himself on shot himself from the point of entry on the left. The deceased person, as was testified by Naomi Nyangweso and Paul Mugabe, who were known to him, stated that the deceased was right-handed. It was not possible for him to use a firearm using his left hand. For the entry point to have been on the left side above the left ear, it would have meant that the deceased person, either used his left hand to shoot himself from the point of entry on the left ear, or when he was shooting himself in the right ear, he bent his head downwards for the bullet to come out at that level. PW3, the lead investigator, testified that going by the position of the entry wound in comparison to the exit wound, the deceased person was shot by someone who was at a higher position, an elevated position relative to the deceased, therefore guiding the bullet on a downward trajectory out of the right ear. PW3 demonstrated the angle of the shooting. She used PE5G, which was showing the wound of entry being higher than the point of exit on PE5F, according to the prosecution, meaning the bullet came downward and that the bullet could not have hit the ceiling as seen at the scene. She said the wounds, the one which was on the left was an entry hole, it was slightly above the left ear, while the wound in the right ear was the exit wound. That was the theory of the prosecution. This court had that the victim was right-handed and was trained in the use of a firearm using his right hand. That being the case, it appears that the plausible path would have been for the deceased, who was right-handed, to pick up the pistol with his right hand and proceed to end his life with the same right hand. If I consider for a moment the defense theory that the entry wound was on the right side of the head, through the ear, and that then the bullet traveled on an upward trajectory, exiting about 3 to 4 inches above the left ear, it would imply that the deceased shot himself after angling his neck towards his right shoulder, held the pistol so that the muzzle of the pistol was held at an angle towards or in the right ear to facilitate the exit of the bullet at an angle of about 45 degrees and 3 inches above the left ear. No evidence has been adduced to suggest that this person used both his right and left hands interchangeably. From the evidence adduced thus far, it is unlikely that a right-handed person would shoot himself on the left side of the head, or that a right-handed person shooting himself through the ear would have an exit wound on the left side of the head higher than the point of entry by about 3 or 4 inches, unless he angled his head towards his shoulder when he was shooting himself. There is therefore need for anyone who was the only other person present in the room with the deceased person to give an explanation on what happened in that room on 2nd November 2023. For above reasons, I conclude that the prosecution has succeeded in establishing a prima facie case requiring a want of an explanation into the circumstances surrounding the demise of the late Katanga. From the prosecution evidence, the demise of the deceased points to unlawfulness, which requires a want to offer The third